Hello and welcome to this episode of the Space Down Under. This is Space Oddities. This month's live stream is a little bit different from what it has been in previous months. So while I'll still be covering the latest in Australian and international space news, this time I'll be joined by two special guests. Jim Clelland, who has been here before, is a long-time listener, first-time watcher or first-time caller, and has been here a few times, and also Tom Dune. Tom Dune actually has the UK space news, and he actually covers that on his own his YouTube channel there. So if you want to go along and follow Tom, please feel free to do so. All right, so welcome, gents. Welcome to this episode of Space Oddities. Turn your voices back on. You can hear your lovely dulcet tones. There we go.
Yeah, good.
How are we, guys?
Good morning.
Very
morning
well.
For me,
how are you?
For you.
It's almost the next day for me.
That's true. That's true. It is very late there. So what time is it where you guys? You can say
Space Oddities. 10 o'clock, 10 p.m.
I can hear your lovely dulcet. Oh, hang on. What's who's playing it in the background?
It's okay. The door's now closed. The door is now closed.
Oh, there's always something, always a different problem, no matter how many times you do a live stream. So I find yeah, that's all right. It's all good. How are we?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fine.
Good.
Very good. Very good. Not bad for a Saturday evening.
So you had to work today though, Tom?
That's right.
Ugh. Is it cold?
Yeah.
Is it cold outside or what? I mean, look, it's 23 degrees here in Brisbane, Australia, Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. So what's the temperature there?
Baltic.
Yeah. I think it's about 3 degrees currently, 2 or 3 degrees at the moment.
Yeah, it was about 3 degrees. I had 5 hours standing in the cold.
5 hours standing in the cold. Hang on, sorry. Someone's complaining about volume. I'm just trying to adjust things as I'm going through, so to make sure
it's okay.
Can hear me properly and hear my wonderful dulcet tones, of course. So, all right.
Of course they can.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course they can. All right. I just wanted to remind everyone that there is a Q&A that's open at the moment. So if you want to ask any questions, you can. And we've got someone coming in here. Now that's not working. Let's give me a sec. Hey, there we go. Lifeline. We've got Morris Walker, who's come in from Germany. He's also complaining about the fact that the stream was a bit low volume. So we've got Greg from Oz. So he's also saying hello. We've got someone chiming in from Townsville. And basically, it's definitely shorts weather, especially here in Australia at the moment. So, and here we go. Can you beat this? -2.
Not yet. Give us time.
No.
Are you above or below the zero?
We're currently above.
I'm getting cold again thinking of it.
Oh, geez. All right. So what we'll do is, so the reason why we're all getting together on this, so it's the 28th of December here in Australia. It's 27th where you guys are. So the reason why we're doing that at the moment is because it was exactly 1 year ago today that I met these guys in person for real life. We actually all met together and caught up in Edinburgh there. So that's just the three of us there, Tom, Jim, and I've forgotten the other guy's name. I've forgotten his name entirely. That's terrible. Mike. Sorry, Mike. If you're watching, Mike, sorry. I know, I'm shocking, aren't I?
Poor Mike.
Yeah.
Mike Garnett. So if anybody wants to go along and follow him. So by the way, if you want to go
I sincerely hope he is not watching this.
He said he would be.
It's fine, Josh. Edit it.
Yeah. It's not as if it's live. Come on.
Yeah, I'll edit it later. It's all good. All right. In case anybody's wondering of exactly what's happening here, I met these lovely two gents this time last year. We all got together in Edinburgh. It was great. It was fantastic, and we decided to relive this experience, but also talk about space stuff, which is exactly what we did 12 months ago. We actually got together and just talked about the space stuff. So we have to, because of one of us living in a different country. This guy. We were unable to replicate it this year, so that's unfortunate. Anyway, all right. So let's get into it, I guess. Do you guys have any updates, or Tom, do you have any space news that we need to know about from your perspective, from Saxiford or anything like that? Any little tidbits, any little updates, because you're all over that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so the only update at the moment, as we approach 2026 rapidly, without a launch this year, RFA are close to getting another first stage back to Shetland. However, the spaceport itself is now fully operational. The integration hangar up at the site was opened this month officially. So they're ready for business. They're ready to go. And we just need the rocket back there, which is really, really good news because things have been delayed and delayed and delayed. As anybody that has watched my coverage of it throughout the year will know, it's been a bit of a damp squib. But I think Q1 2026, things should start happening again up there with a view to launch, hopefully by the summer of next year. So as far as news goes, that's the big one. Further investment has happened across the board in terms of research and development and other technologies. On-orbit refueling is a big one as well at the moment. And yeah, as we approach the end of the year, we've finally had some movement on that side of things. I think Skyrora have had a great year as well, albeit they've not launched for various reasons that were, again, out with their control to their frustration. But 2026 will be our year.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to see a Skyrora booster at some point on the pad. Just something, anything, just to see what they can do.
Yeah, it's still a little bit odd that they chose not to go with another Skylark launch. They have another one, as far as we're aware, and ready to go, but regulations, etc., red tape have prevented that from happening. I'll say RFA at the moment basically have first dibs for the first launch from Saxiford. So until that happens, we may not see anybody else launch. But who knows? And obviously the Skyrora XL is getting closer and closer as well. That should be near completion. Certainly by mid next year, we'd be expecting to see that thing up on the pad there as well.
Yeah.
Cool. I still cannot believe that most of the space industry relies on a lot of this. Just cross your fingers and hope. But also at the same
seems
time,
to be.
And that's the thing, is that with us, the adjustment is as fans of the industry is adjusting to being the shuttle era and the NASA era, the NASA-led era of governmental space launches and things like that. We got to see everything, and we got to know exactly what was happening and all that sort of stuff. To the private space industry, which is, there's two different versions of the private space companies, which is Elon Musk, and he basically tries to publish as much as he possibly can and be very open and transparent with what he's doing, revealing a lot more than what NASA ever did. And then on the flip side, we've also got private space companies who, if they wish to reveal things, then they reveal things. If they don't, then basically it's a mystery, and you don't know about it until you find out they've launched to 80 kilometers.
It can
and
be
you
very,
get a little
very
bit ticked off
frustrating.
because you weren't invited. Sorry.
Yeah. I'd like to see more from PLD. I'd really love to see more from PLD Space España.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all
they were due to launch this year as well, but for whatever reason that hasn't happened. And I believe the previous CEO of Orbex had a bet with the CEO of PLD to launch this year, or within a year from 2023, 2024.
Yeah.
That's not come, but yeah.
Yeah. I will stay up to stupid o'clock in the morning just to watch them launch from Elche again.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, all right.
In fact, if I have to, I will go there and watch them launch from Elche.
So my question would be I'll probably just leave this. Probably should have left this till a little bit later. But my question would be, do you think you'll get up there, Tom, to actually see any launches from Saxavord?
Yeah, it's certainly feasible. At the moment, it's all dependent on when that launch is going to happen. And as you mentioned, with it being private industry, they're under no obligation to give a time frame other than, I think, a 48-hour notice, so that the NOTAMs and things can go out, the air zones can be restricted. Luckily, at that kind of side of the world, the airspace is a bit more open than on the mainland. So it really is quick time frames in terms of getting up there for myself and all the other media outlets and people with an interest. We're relying on fixed wing flights and ferries. So trying to time it very much depends on how open they are at divulging this information. But of course, even going back a few years when Skyrora had their first launch, we didn't know about it until a week after it happened.
Iceland?
Because, Iceland. And there wasn't much getting fed from Iceland about this launch. It was kind of tucked away on a little peninsula. And it was Skyrora that kind of said, look, we tried this. It didn't work. Here's some info now. And by the way, it happened a week ago. So,
Tom, would you like to explain to Josh how long it would take to get to Inst at Saxaford?
Oh. It's probably quicker to swim directly than to try and take transport.
Okay.
It's the most northerly island at the top of all the islands of Scotland. It's basically in Scandinavia.
Yes.
It is that far north.
It's when you get to the next bit and you go, what do you mean I need another ferry to get to the next island?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Well,
pretty remote.
that'll bring me to that actually brings me to me going up to Bowen and back to cover the Gilmour space launch. So from here up to there is it's at least 1,114 kilometers one way to Bowen, and that's a drive. And I drove it 3 times, a total of 3 times, because again, like you guys, I didn't know whether or not Gilmour Space would launch, again, a private company, whether or not they would actually do anything. And so I went up there a grand total of 3 times based on a hunch. And what happened was I was there for the moment they did decide to launch, and I did manage to get it. But however, that was 3 trips. That was over successive 5 weeks. And I fortunately for what I do, I'm working in IT. I was able to actually work remotely the entire time. So actually that'll bring us as a nice, good, short segue into private space companies and not revealing anything, because that brings us into the Australian space news. And what I'm about to show you exactly why I'm a little bit upset. So, AT Space is a Brisbane-based rocket manufacturer and achieved a significant milestone on the 27th of November 2025 with the successful inaugural launch of their Australian-made A01 rocket. This flight set a new record, reaching a higher altitude than any previous Australian commercial rocket. The 12.2 metre tall vehicle lifted off at 9:22 a.m. from Southern Launch's Queensland test range. The 4.5-minute flight was flawless, coming close to the target altitude of 80 kilometres. Crucially, the mission validated AT Space's unique hybrid propulsion technology before the vehicle returned safely to Earth as planned. At AT Space COO Nick Chang said that this successful launch proves our unique hybrid technology is viable and is a great step forward as we move toward developing our orbital launch vehicles. the A01 mission is an incredible step forward for AT Space, and they've expressed they will continue to develop their innovative hybrid rocket engines right here in Australia. And there's no audio with this because I don't want to get an audio strike for using someone else's audio, so that's why I'm leaving it there. So, yeah, this is just the promotional video that Southern Launch and AT Space released in regard to this launch. I was not invited, so that was Aussienaut, despite the fact that I've actually been out there previously, made my own way out there, paid for myself to be out there, had a sponsor to be there. And again, they're under no obligation, which is fine. They're under no obligation to actually invite me out there at all. However, it was just very interesting that even though I thought I had a great relationship with these guys, it turns out that being a private space company, they can restrict whoever wants to come out and actually be on the pad and who is not on the pad. So, yeah, this was very interesting. So this is a nullarbor plane, by the way, just in case anyone's wondering. And this is, and I've been out there, driven all the way out there to cover one of these launches, which was the high impulse launch in 2024. So yeah, I'll just come back to you guys. Yeah, it's very interesting. So yeah, they managed to get their 80 kilometers in orbit. Yeah, a little bit upset. A little bit miffed. That leads right into their private space company. They don't have to invite me to these things if they don't want to, which is fine. But yeah, also, hurt feelings much?
Yeah.
Snub.
I mean, don't they realise the publicity that you could give them? And they'll probably help their business. I mean, come on.
I know, right? Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing is, like, Maurice Walker was saying that my Aero streams kind of made me famous. Yeah, they did, but also at the same time, apparently it doesn't really matter much in the end because I missed out on a vital launch. And to make matters worse, to rub salt into the wounds, I live in a particular suburb of Oxley. Let me just say that where their factory is, it's within 2 kilometres of where I am. It's like a 5-minute trip down the road.
Shocking.
So yeah, Tom. Same thing. Yeah, private space company. If they want to keep it all undercover, they can keep it all undercover.
Exactly, and it's not like you don't have prior covering a launch down there as well from High Impulse.
Yeah, exactly.
But they've gone and repeated. But it just goes to show some of them are more closed off than others.
Very, very, very much.
Yeah,
absolutely no fault. Yeah, when you go
between Orbex and Skyrora, one of them is very open, one of them is militarily closed for business until they're ready to divulge.
Look, I totally understand. Oh, look at that, the supporter. Yeah, support the arm. That's excellent. Oh, yeah. So, all right, which actually brings me into the next segue, which is Gilmour Space. So, and I can reveal during this live stream, I've found out a little bit more. So, let me just reflect on exactly what I did. So, as I said before, I travelled to Bowen a total of 3 times from Brisbane. So, if you want to get on Google Maps and have a look, that is quite a significant way to drive. I didn't fly, just simply because I had quite a bit of equipment to take with me, given that I needed to set up wherever I could. And get the best location. The location for me at that time was at the top of Mount Nut, which is it's a real thing. It's a water tower in Bowen, and it's raised above the ground by about 100 meters or so, and gave me a very good look over the launch facility, and it was able to provide me with this. Okay, we're going. It's going. Oh, okay, it's hovering. It's gone.
While it's loading. That's pretty good. All right. It's launching.
It's launching. Okay, we're going. Look at it. Look at it.
Oh, it's launching.
It's going. It's going. It's going.
That's amazing. It's falling.
Oh, that's behind.
Oh, okay. It's hovering. It's hovering. It's hovering. It's hovering.
It's going down.
Gone.
Woo!
It's gone. Whatever, it blew up. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've made a series of T-shirts. So if anyone wants to go into my store and have a look,
Yeah.
So,
I love that. I never stop enjoying the hover. Just for those.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
So basically, I've managed to find out exactly what happened. So, what happened was, so there was someone else's YouTube channel that someone from Gilmour Space decided to provide the exact reason why these things happened. So Jamie Anderson via YouTuber Kion, Kion, he was a founding propulsion engineer at Gilmour and lead propulsion of all rockets up until the G70 hybrid, the basis for the Cirrus motors. These issues were definitely caused by loss of oxidizer flow/pressure. I would have suggested we trace back to the pump or seal Voltu or drove motor failures. One looks to have failed almost immediately, and the second one 7 seconds in. All engines ignited from the output all engines ignited as the output from the catalyst is plus 670 degrees, which handles ignition. But the deficient flow of oxidizer into the motors meant that no usable thrust was generated. The rocket was in storage in a seaside shed for a year, and who knows what kind of corrosion occurred during this time. There is no published evidence that the company performed a full mission duration, one firing incorporating a HRM cluster, so there's multiple unknowns here. And that's the thing, is I actually got to see the rocket well and truly before it launched. This was on the second trip up to Bowen and back, and it was at least a week and a half before the third and final trip. And I managed to also find out exactly what was happening with Gilmour Space, because I was also at the IAC, which is the International Astronautical Conference in Sydney. And I did overhear a couple of different things about what happened with the Gilmour Space launch. So some of the things I overheard at the IAC, one of them was, it was 1 second and not 14. I've got a T-shirt that famously says 14 seconds of glory. Yes, that was total time.
Yep.
The rocket was in the air. However, I overheard someone say that it was only 1 second in total that was under control. So that's a bit controversial. And the other thing is that also at the IAC, I also overheard Gilmour Space talking to people in regard to how much additional money they need to simply launch another rocket. And I don't want to go into facts and figures here, and I hope that I heard wrong for both of those scenarios, but it is quite a lot of cash they're actually looking for to get to the next level. So yes, it was It was good. A lot of us had hopes based on it, and I wanted to be proven wrong, but I'd heard a lot of things beforehand that I didn't want to get into just because I just didn't know whether or not they were true. And it turns out that everything that I heard beforehand was true, and it was more or less confirmed by someone who formerly worked there and was listed online. So I'm assuming that it's okay and it's public to use, because if you put it up there.
Yeah, I'd say this one has ended up almost as Australia's rocket OceanGate in terms of scandal. No, but it was an attempt nonetheless, and we know these things cost a fair amount of money to even make a first attempt. Getting a second is often dependent on that first, and the loss of confidence that often comes with it. So, yeah,
I mean, it is rocket science. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So, and the other thing is too is that there's an interview with them, and it says that the fault was with the inverter, the third-party component they were working with, and the manufacturer to fix it. Yeah, I understand that there might have been a problem with the inverter and all that sort of stuff, but I will also say to Jamie Anderson's point as well, to this comment, is that yes, it was up. So, from the outside looking in, and I'm not sure exactly what protections they were able to have, but the rocket was in the storage area. At least I know from what I see from the outside looking in, can confirm it's been up there for at least a year. And being in a oceanside community or an oceanside launch location, so they're roughly a kilometre, maybe a kilometre and a half from the ocean, just simply because that way, if anything goes wrong, they can simply drop it into the ocean, which is fine. However, the idea that I know I didn't see any of this, so I'm not sure, but the idea that the seaside air could possibly have caused rust within the vehicle is entirely a possibility. I didn't see any, I didn't notice any when I went in to see the rocket. I didn't notice any positive pressure or anything like that to keep the sea air out. And again, I'm not sure what protections they actually put internally into the rocket in terms to stop it from getting ocean spray or anything like that, or seaside air into it. But that said, if someone is saying that there's some kind of corrosion, I would agree that there might have been some sort of corrosion in somewhere inside the vehicle, just simply because I'm just concerned or worried. Just interested to find out more interested to find out rather than worried or concerned, interested to find out whether or not there was actually corrosion on the vehicle before it launched. But yes, very interesting, very, very, very interesting that someone's come out publicly and said that, and also with the IAC finding out that it was only 1 second under control. Again, I don't know who that person was. I didn't know if they were working for Gilmour Space or anything like that. I just want to qualify that. And I did only overhear it. So yeah, because I heard all sorts of wild stuff at the IAC. Like I also found out that India is going to be building its own space station. So that was an interesting development. So
yeah,
and someone immediately said, "Oh, I wonder what that would smell like inside." And I went, "Oh, fantastic! I love curry."
yeah.
Gents, thoughts?
If the Indians putting something up, that'd be fine.
No,
I mean, we've got the Chinese space
Gilmour.
stations.
Indians or Gilmour, one or the other.
It's probably looking more like ISRO or Skyroot rather than Gilmour at the moment, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I think AT Space kind of proved that. So, just the history of AT Space is that they are a Taiwanese company. So they were a Taiwanese company. They actually came into Australia, and they had a particular rocket that they were going to launch, and they were trying to launch that at Whalers Way a little while ago, and it didn't work very famously. It kind of there was a bit of a grass fire, and all that sort of stuff from people who were trying to observe the launch. So since then and since that time, they seem to have opened up an Australian arm. Or at least made themselves Australian-based, and by making themselves Australian-based, by having a manufacturing facility, which is, again, 2 kilometres down the road, it's only a 5-minute drive, and developing, so the new rocket was A01, where the other ones were AT1 and AT2, I think. This one they're leaning on the fact that it was definitely an Australian-made rocket and a hybrid rocket, and they were able to get to 80 kilometres on their first launch. So I think that's trying to say... Okay. How about you guys tell me, what do you think it's trying to say?
You go first.
Yeah, the thing that's quite immediate is the confidence in Australia for launch provision. Things have been happening. There's a reason that we've seen companies from, as I've already mentioned, from Europe going down to Australia and using it as a base of operations. I don't want to say paving the way, but maybe just happened to get there first to trial everything. And yeah, with what AT are doing, they're clearly not the only ones involved in hybrid propulsion at the moment. There's a lot of naysayers out there, detractors on hybrids, but clearly something is in the water at the moment. and they have confidence enough to come over, with whether that's regulatory or whether that's the infrastructure that's set up down there. It's all geared in a positive manner to drive the industry ahead.
Yeah, completely agree with that.
Yeah, and I think, well, certainly, Josh, in terms of the next year, because year on year, from what we see, it's another step each way and each time, and things get bigger and better, more launches. Obviously, Gilmour notwithstanding, but more companies coming in, and you would have seen that with IAC as well, with the investment that's coming into the country. What 2026 has to offer.
Yeah, that's true.
When you've got infrastructure, you've got Southern Hemisphere launch capability. I mean, come on, it's a no-brainer, really.
That is actually a no-brainer. So, and I understand that, from your guys' perspective. So the other things I can reveal from the IAC, things like that, it's all public information now, is that Southern Launch is doing fantastic things. They're looking to so InnoSpace, which we'll get into in a second. InnoSpace did a launch just recently, and Southern Launch is looking to actually host InnoSpace at Whalers Way, their new launch complex, when it finally gets kicked off. Southern Launch is also, they've been really kicking goals all over the place. They're also having at least 20 orbital returns with, I can't remember the name of the company. It escapes me. Can I just point out, it's still early morning here. I've only had one cup of coffee. So they've, any excuse will do, it doesn't really matter. They've at least 20 launch returns. So that's the capsules that come back, and there'll be at least 20 of those they've signed a deal for. So Southern Launch has actually set themselves up to be the premier infrastructure provider in Australia. Now, that said, that doesn't. There are still others out there at the moment who, again, comes back to the original conversation we had about being a private space company, that they're all got plans as well, but we don't know how far along they are. So, for an example, I did a short video on orbit to orbit, and orbit to orbit at the IAC seemed like a very small company with startup mentality, and they are. However, and what they're trying to do is they've done an MOU with a couple of other companies, and they're creating an in-orbit taxi service. So, and I thought, okay, that's cool. That's a nice MOU. That's great pictures and whatever else. But what's happened in behind the scenes is because of following them after the IAC, they're really starting to put the rubber to the road, as in they're really starting to make a lot of traction towards getting that goal. So, and that's an in-orbit taxi service. Not quite sure how they're going to do it, but apparently they're well and truly on their way. Plus, and that's the thing, is that just to highlight what else is happening in this country is it's not all necessarily Gilmour Space either. There is now AT Space. There are launch returns that are coming through Southern Launch. There are others that are coming here, but also there are a number of other small Australian companies that are also in that same space as Gilmour Space. Pardon the pun. I just realised that was a pun. Other small companies who are coming into this particular realm, and they will be able to, it might be able to provide exactly what Gilmour can provide, or even better than what Gilmour can provide in 26, 27, 28, all the way out from here. There is certainly from when I first started this channel in 2018 to now, there is certainly in the last 6 months, there is certainly a lot more traction all of a sudden. And I mean, it's all of a sudden too. I mean, it was probably attributed to the IAC and what happened there, but there is certainly a lot of traction that is happening in terms of more launches coming, or more activity coming into this country.
Yeah, and it just, again, it shows how quickly things can happen with one successful launch and then another. But even going back decades, that portion of Australia has had a successful history right back to the 40s, 50s. So there's heritage there, and then it's building on top of that. It's a fantastic place to a launch from. It's reasonably close to Adelaide, if I remember my geography rightly. So in terms of the size of the country, it's not stuck out there in the Northern Territories like maybe some of the others.
I got to tell you, I went. So all right, so Whalers Way, yes, is definitely closer towards Adelaide, absolutely without a doubt. And the last I heard, their launch facility, the Whalers Way one, hasn't been approved as yet. That said, that doesn't mean public information is always lacking behind where the company actually is. But it's at least a 8-hour drive, Tom, to Whalers Way, and then
that's close for you.
Canberra is actually a 12-hour drive. Australia is crazy big, and I've driven it in an electric vehicle, by the way. Both times, one for the high impulse launch and the other for the Bowen for Gilmour's space launch for Bowen orbital spaceport. So yeah, we're quite large, but yes, I understand what you're saying. That's the thing is if either of you or anyone else who's watching for that matter gets onto Flight Radar and has a good look and puts it over Australia, generally apart from our major cities, they're the busiest. If you go a little way out from one of our cities, no more than about 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers. There's nothing. There's no flights. So if you stick up a NOTAM, you're not disturbing anybody. Whereas if you stick up a NOTAM, which is next to a major city, then that's how many millions of dollars or potentially billions of dollars you're going to be disturbing in terms of flights and flight paths and extra fuel consumption and passengers having to wait that additional time because there's a stupid rocket going up. Interesting. All right, now let's get into some international news before I get too far along and get it's involved with myself. So just a sec.
Quasi-zenith satellite system called Michibiki No. 5, known as Japan's GPS satellite. But as it could not place the satellite into its planned orbit, the ministry determined the launch had failed and set up a task force to investigate what went wrong. The latest H-3 rocket was originally scheduled for launch on December 7th. But the event was postponed for equipment checks. A rescheduled launch on December 17th was halted about 17 seconds before liftoff due to an abnormality in the ground system that supplies cooling water. When it was finally launched on December 22nd, the second stage engine is said to have shut down prematurely 27 minutes after liftoff.
Began with a Pathfinder satellite launched in September 2010. Japan plans for the network to eventually grow to 11 satellites. And then backing that up,
developed by InnoSpace was heading into space on its first commercial launch mission. The launch was initially delayed by a few hours due to bad weather. It was finally launched from the Alcântara Space Center in Brazil at 10:13 p.m. local time. But reports suggest that the rocket disintegrated after liftoff and crashed back to Earth.
InnoSpace announced the anomaly before cutting off a webcast and did not immediately provide an update on X.
Quasi-zenith
developed by InnoSpace was heading into space on its first commercial launch mission. The launch was initially delayed by a few hours due to bad weather. It was finally launched from the Alcântara Space Center in Brazil at 10:13 p.m. local time. But reports suggest that the rocket disintegrated after liftoff and crashed back to Earth.
90 kilos, 198 pounds of payload into a sun-synchronous orbit from Brazil. The launch debut carried a total of 8 payloads, 5 small satellites for customers in Brazil, India, and 3 additional technology demonstrating payloads. So 2 failures on the same day. Interesting. Boy. You have wild success and you have wild failure.
Yeah. We've all been there.
Hang on. I think I've muted you boys. I'm sorry. There we go. I accidentally muted you guys. I'm sorry. 2 audios.
Yeah.
Hang on. Someone's complaining.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right. Thoughts? Do you have any?
Not at the moment, no.
Yeah,
it's getting later in the night, and he's been in the cold for 5 hours. What do you expect?
I think I'm just bummed out now that he's gone from the success to the two failures.
Oh, it's only Australia.
Man,
we were up here, and then suddenly he starts to tell us about failures.
It's just we're riding that high, and then he just brings us back down to earth.
Yeah. We need to mute the original audio. I didn't realize the original audio was playing. Hang on. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, guys. Look, hang on. Let me go to the Q&A for a second. People are saying that I needed to mute the audio. Yeah, interesting. All right. They confirmed your thoughts with the length of time up there. I'm not sure what that meant, but anyway, I'm not sure what that actually means as well. So this info came from an interview 3 weeks ago, Wild Hearts and Blackbird Ventures. Yes, I know about that one. And yes, Gilmour Space is actually planning 2 launches in 2026 in quarters 2 and 4. If I can be there, absolutely, without a doubt, I will be there. And I will try and bring it to everyone again live if they wish. But yes, you just need to let me know whether or not you would be willing to tune into that one. So that's addressing everybody who's out there.
Tom, are we going to have to start another Get Josh to Gilmour Space campaign?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think I'll just have to camp up there. I'll just remain up there for a couple of weeks. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Just get an RV, man.
Sorry?
Just get an RV and base yourself there half the year.
Yeah, I will. I'll have to make sure that I do that. I'll have to come up with some sort of alternative scenario. But the problem with Mountain Nut was it's not a problem. But the where I managed to find. So I scouted the area on the very first week, and believe it or not, there is places that are closer to the pad. But however, because of Australia's gum trees. This is inside details, and about how I did the live stream. So the Australia's gum trees range anywhere between 20 and 30 meters tall. So there was no way from ground level you're going to see a rocket standing on the pad. So yeah, even though I did scout all the areas, I was actually a lot closer, and I was down at absolute ground level because it turns into a bit more of a flat plane. And with the flat plane, it's very hard to see anything because of the size of the trees that would be surrounding the actual launch pad. So I did manage to get closer. With that, I was the only one who was up there. I found out since, and I've found out more information since, that I was the only one there who was actually live streaming on the day. So there was a lot of TV news channels up there, like our local broadcasters and stuff like that. But they only really just were there for the launch and not much else, mainly to get people's reactions. And as usual, they only did the 30 seconds. Oh, Gilmour Space launched and failed, and that was it. And I will say, even though it's really annoying for you guys, I apologize. My footage was used right around the world because that little annoying box that appeared on everything. I knew it was mine because I'm like, I'm actually trying to work on getting a sponsor for that, so that way I can actually end up with a whole bunch of different cameras and that sort of stuff. Because doing this on my own and making my own choices is really hard.
What would be the rules regarding drone access to the area during the launch?
No TAM. No TAM is
no chance.
Yeah. So as soon as you go into the launch area. Then basically what that means is that they have to shut down the NOTAM is violated and they can no longer launch. It's a breach of the airspace. If Gilmour Space wanted to put up their own drone, they would need to talk. So how it works is they would talk to CASA, or they put in an application through CASA that they're going to use a drone during that time. CASA in this country, in terms of launches and things like that, they're very cautious, very cautious. Couldn't think of a word. Well, I did think of a word. I thought of several words, but anyway, they're very cautious. They're very cautious in their approach to this sort of stuff. So, they possibly wouldn't allow it. However, they did allow it, as you saw, because of the Gilmour Space's official launch items themselves where the rocket failed. They did have one, but it was very, very much towards the back. So that would have been at the outer edge of the NOTAM area. So yes, it is possible to do, and I'd love to do it again. And if they're going to be doing, what is it, Q2 and 4 next year, which could be 3 and 4 or 3 or 27 at this stage. Again, I don't know what's going on internally, and yeah, I'd love to be there, but I'm not sure whether or not I'd love to be there, put it that way. And yes, I'll be bringing it to everyone a little bit differently. All right, let's get into the next one. So, Jim, you have something on Skyroot.
Yes. Do you have an image?
Yes, I have several.
Yeah. So for anybody that doesn't actually know, Skyroot is basically India's answer to SpaceX. It's one of the country's top private space companies with a mission to make spaceflight affordable and accessible to everyone. Like you, they kind of started back in 2018. Both their CEO and Chief Operating Officer were both ISRO engineers. Nicely timed for that image, thank you. So both went to the Indian Institute of Technology, and they're both graduates from that. Their main hub is in Hyderabad, and they've got like a 5,500 square meter facility, and with a cool name, which is Max-Q. It's the biggest private rocket development center in South Asia, all under one roof. So basically, they've got the whole package, everything together. They have, nice engine. They have 3 launch vehicles. Yeah, 3 launch vehicles from the Vikram family. So in 2022, they launched Vikram S. So it was India's first privately built rocket to reach the Kármán line. So it did hit space. Before that, they tested 3D printed engines and liquid fuel stages. Now, probably 3D printed engines is the way to go at the moment because it's going to be slightly cheaper. And, if you lose it, you lose it. It's okay, just make another one. So in 2024 and 2025, they've been nailing tests for first orbital rocket Vikram 1. Have you got a graphic on the 3 Vikrams? Vikram 1, 2, and 3?
They had them up a second ago, sorry.
Yeah.
I scaled past it.
It's okay. Yeah, apologies. There we go. Now, they are similar to something else we may have seen, but let's just not take that away from them. And I think we all know where that's kind of come from, that design. I'm not going to say it in case I get into bother. But so the Vikram series is known for small lift vehicles designed to carry satellites. Vikram 1 can haul up to 350 to low Earth orbit with a carbon composite body and 3D printed engines. So that is definitely the way to go for them. Vikram 2 will be coming in 2026. Cryogenic engines, and Vikram 3 is still in the works. But the thing about that one is it's going to be all modular, so they can put them together just before launch days for either dedicated missions or rideshare. It's not a big deal to them. So far, they've raised about $95 million. Now, I should have looked it up to see if that was US or Australian, with big investors like Singapore's Temasek on board, and they're going to go global too. There's a German company that they're currently looking at, ExoLaunch, for launch services, plus French companies to help launch the satellite. So we're probably looking at French Guyana for some of the rockets to get taken there. Vikram 1, going back to Vikram 1, its first orbital launch was in 2025, and they're working on reusable tech to bring down costs even more. All in all, they're actually the heart of India's space industry and probably South Asia's as well. So that's really all I've got to say on them. Is there anything else you'd like to add, either of you?
No, the Skyroot Aerospace is going to be very one to compete with. It's going to be very, very interesting how they'll develop over the next little while. And yeah, I understand what you were saying about what the designs and everything look like, and yeah, it does look awfully SpaceX/ULA. But then again, when you're dealing with orbital mechanics and atmospheric conditions and all that sort of stuff, and trying to get through Max-Q and all that sort of stuff, there is only a certain amount of shapes you can.
There's only so many designs you can use.
Correct.
Yes.
It's exactly that. It's exactly that.
I was hoping that would be enough to give you an idea about what Skyroar is all about and some of their history as well. Like you, started back in 2018. So, yay!
Oh, common history. There we go. They should invite me to do a live stream and launch.
Let's start that one, Tom. Let's go for this.
Absolutely.
It would be easier for you to get to India than it would be for Tom to get to Inst.
I'll just have to go to India instead.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, geez. See, look, I'd love to go and live stream that sort of stuff. I'd like to take this show on the road, as they say. But yeah, I don't think that will be happening because there is something happening that will be announced in January, and I'll be doing a live stream with you two gents if you like, and I'll be announcing something rather major. So for anybody who's still hanging around and watching, so just go to the Q&A once more. So I apologise for the audio issues you guys were having. I'm sorry about that. So apparently Gilmour said like they were going to work with me on doing a live stream. Maybe it just was a thought bubble. Okay, that's flattering. I didn't know about that. By the way, they know where I live. They have my contact details. Hello. Sorry. Sorry. That's terrible.
We'll do it on your behalf. We'll say, Gilmour, give Josh a call.
Yeah, Gilmour, give
definitely.
Josh a call.
Come on.
Skyroot, give Josh a call, and that way I can actually cover the rest
Tom,
of the
keyboard.
But my two keyboard warriors.
Send.
It turned into an angry keyboard warrior instead.
Yeah, why not? Oh, and Castle would be green to space launch approvals. I'm not sure what that means, but thank you anyway, Kim Smith. My experience with CASA is very different. So, and I've actually had one-on-one experience with CASA. I was developing something. I was an entrepreneur before I started the YouTube channel, and I was looking into the drone industry quite heavily, and I was working quite heavily with CASA at that particular point in time. That's how come I do know that some of the stuff in regards to how they think about certain things, just because I've had that one-on-one experience. So I just thought I'd clarify that there. All right, gents. Any other news, any other developments or anything like that that's going to be happening? Tom, I'm keen and eager to get you up to Saxaboard as soon as I can. Are you going to start a GoFundMe page or something like that? Or how do I donate some Aussie dollary dues to you and
anything
your
at this point? I would take it in a milk bottle across the ocean. It's we've got that to look forward to. I'll be up there by hook or by crook. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, a couple of things that I'm looking forward to next year. Another attempt by Nord Space over in Canada. And then we have the Themis demonstrator over in S-Range in Sweden for Europe's reusable rocket system. So across the board, across the Northern Hemisphere, there's some exciting things to look forward to next year. And if I'm still sat here this time next year on our second anniversary, then and saying the same things, I might be a little disappointed, and there will be more whiskey involved in our next endeavor.
Look, I completely understand that. I completely understand that entirely. Jim, have you noticed any news or anything like that? I mean, you were the one who pointed out Skyroot Aerospace, and I was being kind of following them in the background, and then you started to send me that article, and I went, "Oh, they're a lot further than I thought."
They are a lot further than a lot of people think. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on them because they are making so much headway at the moment.
Yeah, I think India in general it's one of the places for space. It has been for the past couple of years, and we've still got Gaganyaan, to go. So it's going to be a great couple of years for them again. And they're looking at just going to fall right into that.
They're looking at crewed launches as well. So
Gaganyaan, which is the crude launches. And then there's also, just to add into that, there's also, I had them and then they're gone. There's everyone's got ambitions for space at the moment. And it seems like Australia is the not to toot my own horn. Everyone's watching my channel about Australia, and I invited two
that's
Scotsmen.
true.
Why did I do that anyway? Oh, because we're mates. All right. So it looks like Australia is going to be hosting a lot more in 2026 and 2027. And then,
I mean, is there any possibility that any European companies could be launching from Australia or New Zealand?
Well, yes. It just depends on how much whiskey Tom has had and whether or not. Because we had this argument this time last year, if I remember correctly, and it's because Saxaford was what was it? Not Saxaford. High Impulse was supposed to be launching from Australia. And that deal was done apparently, and then we met up, and Tom was like, "No, they're definitely going from Saxaford," and I'm like, "Sure about
that?" We did. They let me down on that one.
It's not going to happen. It's just delayed slightly.
It's just delayed, and it's still delayed. You won. And with the amount of whiskey that I had, I think you could probably have gotten to about the height they got to in Southern Launch.
Oh, that was such a good night. Oh, that was so good. But anyway, we need look. I live to replicate that, and hopefully this time next year we can do it. We could possibly do a live stream from a pub in Edinburgh.
That'll be fun.
No one will tune in then. That'd be disastrous.
Oh, I think everyone would tune in for that.
Yeah.
3 drunk morons.
I know a great pizza place.
Yes, I know you did. You showed me the pizza place when we were there. And if anybody who wants to know, look, they probably don't. But before the 4 of us got together, and remembering, of course, Mike Garnett, of course, apologies, Mike.
Mike, obviously.
I managed to spend the entire day with the great Jim Clelland wandering the streets of Edinburgh. And that was the biggest educational experience I've ever had, to have someone who is a true local to walking the streets of Edinburgh and with you and pointing out various things, and then pointing out, saying, oh, by the way, see these 2 bricks here? The reason why they're different color is because someone was killed here. And over here, this is where they call this the last drop, because that's the last thing they saw before they were hung. And they're like,
yeah.
That's how I spent my entire day before I met up with
Tom. He's under the impression all we did was hang people, like dig up bodies and burn witches. I mean, come on.
Pretty much. That's the education.
It's cold here. There's nothing else much to do.
You guys, you need a hobby rather than killing people. Oh, hang on. I
Oh, wait until he sees the celebrations through the streets of the north of Scotland with the flaming torches and pointy hats.
Yes. Oh no, I don't need to know. I don't need to know.
It's not as bad as it sounds, to be honest.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I was thinking I would be having an innocent day in the streets of Edinburgh and finding out all about the history. And I did find out about the history. It was just so bloody and brutal. And very educational.
And do you remember the smallest museum in the world?
Yes, I do. I also hang on.
Oh, come on, I got it signed for you.
Yes, I know. It was signed and everything. So, yes, I do have the Witchery Tales tour. And yes, it is signed.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I was there, the Witchery Tales, the darker side of old Edinburgh. Yeah, if anybody wants to do it, if you do it yourselves, I would suggest you go along and add to this particular place here and pick yourself up one of these. It is going to, without having a local telling you exactly who died where, this is the next Sorry, this live stream has definitely devolved into something completely. Oh, James, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure, and it's good catching up with you again. And we must do it. Hopefully, look, I'd like to be there in December 26th, but I don't know how it's going to run. Again, as I said, I've got a big announcement in January, and you two lads will be joining me for that one. Hopefully. let's pick a more decent time so that people are not almost out of their heads tired. You two, or someone who's already had several rums, Jim.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Yep, go on.
One of the last, was it one of the last moon landings? I was in Malta at the time. I'll try not to be in Malta for January.
That'd be handy. That'd be handy. That'd be handy. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me there, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. So thanks very much to Jim and Tom for joining me on this very Space Oddities, because, you know, very much we are Space Oddities. And we actually we had a magnificent time hanging out in Edinburgh. So thank you very much for joining me. Remember to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. You know, guys, do the usual as you previously do. And as always, stay caffeinated.